Folks, it's really hard to get someone at the IRS over the phone right now. I know it, you know it. I recently made a video about this. Um, and it's especially hard if you really need to talk to someone at the IRS about your situation to get you into a hardship status. Okay? And that's the situation that either ad 1539 has found themselves in. They say, so I'm currently on a payment plan with the IRS, but I literally cannot afford to pay it right now. I'm barely making it, and that $150 payment is hitting hard. I've tried every method I can think of to try to speak with someone to declare an inability to pay. Can't get through to a person. Is there anything else I can do? And they're not just blowing smoke here when they say the $150 payment is hitting hard, because they also say they only make $900 a month. And they live. It looks like they live with the boyfriend. The boyfriend just got fired. And they can't even. So look, they make $900 a month for this household. $150 payment gets that down to $750. Right? You're not. Yeah, you can't really afford anything with $750 a month, right? Living on your own. So that stinks. So this is definitely a hardship situation. What I would tell this individual is try it different times a day, right? Especially early in the morning. You may have already tried this, right? And this is assuming you don't want to pay a professional for help. I would, also say, if you really are not able to get through to the IRS, despite trying different times a day, or maybe you can't try different times a day due to your work schedule or something, send in a written request. Okay, send in a written request. That's what I would do. So, when you get a notice from the IRS, usually in this additional information box that's kind of at the end of the notice, there will be an address here, right? It says you can contact us by mail at the following address. Be sure to include your employer ID number. Well, this is a business notice. The tax year and the form number you're writing about. If it's an individual situation, you use your social. And this address here in Cincinnati, Ohio, this is not the address I'm telling you to use. I'm telling you to look at a recent notice you received from the IRS. Look at what that address is and send your request there. What should you include in this request? Okay. You should include a signed and dated form 433F. It's a lot of pages, but I'm guessing here that your situation is pretty simple. Probably not a lot of assets and liabilities. You have your monthly wage, and that's it. So I would fill this out as best you can. I mean, there are some things you need to know about IRS standards. I've gone over these in other videos, but at $900 gross a month, like you're the national standard for food. Here, you know what? I'll just be nice. Okay, so you make $900 a month. Okay, so you're gonna fill out your. Why can't I fill this out? Gosh darn it. Okay, I wasn't intending to do all this in video here, but obviously you'd put, you'd fill out all this stuff about yourself, right? Bank accounts. Really, in your situation, it's a simple situation. The only confusing thing here might be, filling out your employment information and your necessary living expenses. Okay, but at $900 a month, there's not a lot there, right? So it shouldn't be a problem. So you put your employer. I don't know. Let's say you work for Apple Inc. And I don't know. Let's say you're paid monthly and you make $900 per month, and you get. Well, I mean, if you make $900 per month, you probably don't really get anything taken out because you're below the standard deduction. Let's say you're at 5 years, okay, and I'm assuming you don't have any of this non-wage income. Okay, so you make $900 a month, right? And then guess what? You get to put here under food and personal care. I wouldn't go through your entire budget and look for what the actual amounts are. I would just take these amounts here. National standards, food, clothing, and other items. Right, plug these in for a one-person household. Right, let's forget about the boyfriend for now. You don't claim him. If you did claim him on your return, which I don't think you do because he just got fired and playing as a job, so he probably makes more than $5,000 a year, so you couldn't claim him anyway. But I would just drop these amounts in here. Right, so for food, $497, housekeeping supplies, $45. Clothing, apparel, and services. That's clothing services, $93.93. Personal care products and services, $50. Miscellaneous 154. Total 839, right? And then I would just put, what you pay for other. So this here alone only leaves you right now with like $61 of disposable income, 900 minus 839, right? And then you could even you get a standard amount for out of pocket healthcare expenses. That's not the one I want. Here we go. Right. I'm assuming you're under 65, so $84. Right. And if it's more, put more. And then obviously you have other expenses here. Like how do you? I'm not going to. Maybe you. Let's say you don't even have a car, right? Then I would just take the public transportation standard, which is 244, right? And already at this point, you have a negative disposable income, right? And they should give you CNC pretty easily. Okay. So, I'd felt this whole thing. I mean, really, it's only this part here that, I kind of helped you with. Definitely sign it, date it. And I would just put, type up a little letter and say, here's my name, here's my social. Please find attached 433F. I've been in an installment agreement for X a month. Due to a change in financial circumstances, I can no longer afford to make that installment payment. I'm requesting placement into CNC, currently non-collectible status. Okay, and they should be able to put you in it. Oh, by the way, I would fill out the other things on the 433F. Okay, because when they look to systemically kick someone out of CNC, it's based on what their monthly expenses are times 12, and whether or not on the next filed tax return, say the AG on the return exceeds what they would have expected the annual living expenses to be. Okay, but I would fill it out in full. But I'm just, by way of example, I'm showing that even if you just took the standards for some things, you would already wipe out that $900 a month, and and that's basically the definition of CNC. You don't have any disposable income left over to pay the IRS. Okay, so I would look at a recent notice, mail the signed 433, signed and completed 433F, and just a brief letter requesting CNC status, and send it off, and see what they say. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to get an immediate response, but if you really can't make your request, but at least you're making a request, right? And I would send it certified mail with return receipt so that they got it. If you can't get anyone through over the phone, you're not even able to make the request, right? I wish you could. It's a bit easier that way, especially in simple situations like this where you make $900 a month. Yeah, you're eschewing for hardship, right? But if that's proving frustrating, if not impossible, that's your option. That's your option. Folks, if you owe the IRS or your state at least $10,000 in back taxes, or you have multiple years of unfiled tax returns, you qualify for a free consultation with us here at Choice Tax Relief. Congratulations. Give us a call, 866-8000-TAX. That's 866-8000-829. Or go to choicetaxrelief.com, fill out the form on the website, and we will reach out to you about that free consultation. I have some other videos here on the left-hand side of the screen for your education and enjoyment. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.